welcome to another edition of Extra Butter. Tengo un especial skills. All right, I can't speak Spanish, but if I did, I would tell you all of those skills Liam Neeson has, Gina Rodriguez has even bigger and better in Miss Bala, headed to theaters this weekend. Also, Glass, the #1 movie. What? Glass is the #1 movie at the box office? How did that happen? Didn't word of mouth get around? We'll explore that with Samuel L. Jackson. Also, the most awkward interview ever did get around. It's me and Tom Hardy. Venom now heads to Blu-ray and DVD. Thanks for the popcorn, Eric Wolfer. We're gonna explore that and more on this edition of Extra Butter. It's a show where we get together and we talk about movies pretty much the way you talk about movies. Keep the conversation going with us. It's Extra Butter TV on Facebook. Me and these people. Yeah! Oh, be still my heart. Mikey Winfield is back.
In the building.
We'll get to you in a minute. I want to find out of your travels. In the meantime, please welcome to the table the lovely and talented radio executive, Deanna Houston, ladies and gentlemen. Where do we find you?
You can find me at Miss Purple Rain on Instagram.
Tell me something about yourself.
I had an ear infection for a whole month once. It was the worst thing in my whole life. Never cried so much.
Good to know. Please send your penicillin or any other antibiotic blood. Hey, and also the world famous Robbie.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, at Robbie Quick, ROBIQUICK. I was the voice of Republic FC.
Ooh.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Shave every day or draw that on? Because that's like the perfect shadow.
It is a work of art, my friend. I have to draw it on every single day. It is tough. It is tough, but I'm an artist, so it works out.
There's got to be a stencil. All right, finally, Mikey Winfield, welcome back. Let me tell you some things you might not know before you even jump in there. Just signed a huge NBC contract. You won a big gig. You're booked on Fallon's Tonight Show.
Yes. It's all coming soon. It is an amazing time. Things are happening. Movies coming out. Meetings happening. Life is good.
In the meantime, how do you play cruise ships as much as you do and not get fat?
Hey, you know what though? I got a special place where we eat. We got like a special place where the food is on a whole different level. It's called Lido.
The Lido deck. Because Lido sounds like libido, you know what I'm saying? All right, so something you probably didn't know, they have movie theaters on cruise ships. I confirmed you saw Glass, you saw Glass, you saw Glass. I hated Glass. There, I said it.
Ooh.
Anybody else?
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I actually thought that it was the sequel to, what was that? What were we talking about? Was it Change?
Unbreakable.
Yes.
It kinda was.
But I guess you corrected us wrong and said that it's not, correct?
No, it is a sequel to two of the movies that M. Night Shyamalan did. And it was phenomenal. If you love Shyamalan, then you loved this movie.
Funny you
But if
should
you
say that.
didn't,
That's kind of what Sam Jackson said when we went behind the scenes. Take a look.
I think it's a valid culmination of a story, if that's what it is. As part of a trilogy, it'll give an audience that's followed the other two stories a sense of closure, hopefully for what they've been anticipating.
Suffice to say, he just took the money. Everybody do the Sam Jackson posture for that interview. It's kind of a sequel to the two others. They might find closure. Closure like in a funeral closure. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Like you said, M. Night Shyamalan, and you know how, Mikey, correct me if I'm wrong, an M. Night Shyamalan movie you go to for the ending.
Yeah, normally you do. And I just feel like if I see Samuel and I see Bruce Willis, I don't know, man. I'm thinking a whole entirely
It's gonna be
different-
great.
Yeah, right. But, he's an amazing guy. Bruce is an amazing guy.
Hold on.
To the fact that you hated the movie.
I gotta be the one to say this. They literally they brought you into the movie, right? Because you're sitting there, the lady, the psychologist, she's trying to make them believe they don't have these powers that they obviously have. And as you're sitting there, you even think to yourself, am I in this movie and am I really questioning, are they real or not? And they are. It was good. You guys didn't care for it?
For more on that, I'm going to bring in an expert. You know him, you love him. Gavin, what's up?
Hey!
By the way, I've been trying to get you on this show for even when it was called something else 25 years ago. So welcome to the show.
Too long. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so do you want to defend Glass? Because we've been ripping it apart for the last 2 minutes.
I wanted to, so I saw what you said about Glass, Mark, and how you said it was disappointing, and I was kind of shocked that you said that because it's way worse than that.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
I knew I liked you.
Thanks for having my back. And I swear, I really thought he was going the other direction.
So did I.
So, are you
you're
like
excited.
me? Do you feel like it's the bitter end when you find out how screwed you've been for the previous 2.5 hours?
Completely. I honestly, you know how like, oh, well, M. Night Shyamalan said he's had this movie planned in his head for the last 20-some years and stuff. If that's the case, he's way worse of a filmmaker than we give him credit for, because it really feels like he just threw it together at the last minute.
Hey, Gavin, at least talk about the performances being good. That's what I was into, huh?
I mean, that is true. I mean, James McAvoy is always spectacular in almost anything he does, especially that role. Bruce Willis is great at being Bruce Willis, and Samuel L. Jackson, I mean, he'll say yes to literally any script in Hollywood. But I mean, you're right, the performances were good considering what they had to work with.
Awesome. Thank you for the review. You, like me, have loved movies for most of your life, and he is the latest induction into the Broadcast Film Critics Association.
Wow,
Yeah,
very cool. Very cool.
and on the air, we find you at 106.5 The Inn.
That's right, in the mornings on weekdays.
Good for you.
All right, so moving along, I really thought the kid who would be king was going to do better. I really thought it was going to do well. It didn't. Regardless, my niece went to go see it. Take a look.
I'll start with you, Sir Patrick, because I've heard you're a real knight.
Oh, a real knight?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Do you like it?
Yes, and I'm very happy about that. I was knighted by the Queen about 8 years ago.
And did you get a real sword or no?
No, I didn't get a sword, but I was knighted by the Queen.
Okay.
And something rather magical happened, because you have to kneel in front of her. And then all of a sudden, she had a sword in her hand, and I had no idea where it came from. And then she did on both shoulders, and the sword went away. And I didn't see, I don't know, maybe I was being a little overexcited, but I didn't see where it came from or where it went to.
Mark, I haven't been here in a while, but your niece definitely gives a much better interview than you.
Do you know how many? Just read the comments in that interview. Pretty much everybody's saying the same thing. Thanks for having my back. Look, who do you think supplies her with her American Girl dolls? I do.
Oh.
Yo, what's going on though? It seems like all the newcomer movies flop. What's going on?
I know. When you've got like Aquaman popping back up, moving up a notch. Yeah, that's the case. I think people, just like Jason Momoa's abs, and people want to go see Glass to see if it really is as bad as me and everybody else says it is.
Man.
I'll tell you a movie that is great, only which way you slice it. Gina Rodriguez joins us next to talk about Miss Bala. Bala means bullets. There are lots in this movie going sometimes the right direction. And welcome back. It is Extra Butter. Finally, we arrive at the time we talk about the new movies opening at the box office this weekend. Anybody see the trailer before they went to go see Miss Bala?
That's what I like to do. I like to peep the trailer.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You research.
The trailer's on fire. Right.
Robbie?
If the trailer's good, you know it's going to be good. If they show you too much, they showed you it all. It was good. It was
Deanna?
You know, I just jumped right into this one. Didn't even watch a trailer, but I was definitely pleased.
Same way here. I did nothing, no research, shocker, but I went into this one blind, and my God, is it a great ride. Take a look at the movie. It looks gorgeous because it is. Great cinematography and an elevated production style. If you liked Taken, well, this is Taken, only with a female lead, opening up a can of it, and it takes you across the border to Mexico, where some good and bad things happen. I mean, all right, back here, it does show you how beautiful day-to-day life in Mexico can be.
Yeah, you know what? I've been in Mexico a lot lately.
Yeah.
Not so much these parts, but it does frighten you too. It's like you see the realities of the world, and you see things that could happen if you just get off the porch.
What would you do if your friend got kidnapped?
You know what? I'm gonna just have to call him later.
Not a friend
This
or
movie
you.
is more of a short
I'm not
than a feature
equipped.
film. All right, good to know.
Yeah, they live in Mexico now.
If I get kidnapped and I only have one call to make, with no offense, based on this information, I'm not calling
Do
you.
not
All right.
All right, how would you react?
Oh, I'd like to think I'd become that hero, that I'd jump in there and do what she did. I don't
Right.
know, but odds are I'd probably freak out and hide on the ship.
You will never do it looking as good as Gina Rodriguez did
No,
at the
never.
final scene in this movie.
Not at all. That's what I love about this movie. You guys are just surpassing the fact that it's a kick-butt film with a woman, and she's beating up men, and I love it. She kind of reminds me of Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's a feel that I got from this movie, and I love her for that.
The only difference I'll make is that she doesn't quite have the edge all the time. Michelle Rodriguez always has like a sample of that edge showing. I don't know why I'm pointing to myself. She's got edge on her shoulder.
The chip.
Michelle like doesn't lead with that.
Right.
We talk. Look how kind she is. You'll see. Lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you again.
You're one of my favorite people on the planet to talk to.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
The likes of me, people are always saying, Who's your favorite? Who's your least favorite? You're at the top.
Oh, that's
Of
very, very
favorites.
kind. Oh my goodness, now I hope I don't screw this up.
No, that's all I got.
Okay, that's all I needed too. That was great. I stay on a high note.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much.
Starting the new year off with a great way with Miss Bala, opening up a can of it.
Did you get to see it?
Did I get to see? I've seen it twice.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun movie. I'm really proud of it. So let's see how the world receives it.
How cool is it when you know you're laying down a scene? I don't want to plot spoil, but there's a moment in a red dress with some ammunition that you're laying down a scene that you know is going to be one of those cinematic moments that people are going to be calling back for the rest of your career in life.
Oh my God, well that's very kind, from your lips to God's ears. I mean, I know making the movie felt very, very special. You know, we got to make it with 95% Latinx in front of and behind the camera, which is very, very rare. With a studio movie, with a woman at the helm, an incredible director, and you know, we felt the joy, the revolutionary feeling was very palpable, you know, and so for me it was just a really incredible project to make.
All right, so you were talking about how excited you would be to sit down with the other person in this movie, Ismael Córdova.
Yes, he is just so beautiful, so dreamy. I love him.
And did you grow up watching him? Like, in fact, if anybody wants to throw out the elephant in the room, talk about the biggest career split. Why is that?
You know what? Because he was on Sesame Street.
Right. What a huge crossover. How do you go from Sesame Street to being like the biggest cartel gangster in a movie? Like that makes.
He did it good too.
He did.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about that. Take a look. Really awesome work. Do you ever consider what a short list of actors you're on that have been in a movie where you are a relentless badass opening up a can of it and feared, and at the same time you had in your career Muppets saying your name?
I know, man. I think about the demographic, I mean, the ranges that I've covered. I'm trying to look what I can add to that. I mean, I just did Mary Queen of Scots as well, which I'm playing this Renaissance violinist, and he's like playing back to back with Miss Bala. So I feel grateful for that.
What's funny, I have teenage boys, and they grew up watching you on Sesame Street,
That's
right?
great. That's
and
great.
But now they're age appropriate to go see this. They're on
Send
the
them.
full ride.
Send them.
I say go see it, especially if you lean into the Taken franchise. This movie doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it brings a lot of originality within the story.
I think it found a formula, and I think you should definitely see it.
Yeah, it's full of energy. Get your heart rate going. It's really good. Make sure you see it.
And all I have to say is girl power. So ladies, go represent, go support. It's such a good movie.
There you go. You know what's better than that? My interview with Tom Hardy. Not true at all. That was one of the worst interviews ever. But coming up in a moment, the reason behind that, Venom now heads to Blu-ray and DVD. We will talk with Tom again next. Welcome back. It is Extra Butter, hanging out with my friends, the lovely and talented Deanna Houston, the lovely and talented Robbie Quick, the lovely and talented and world-famous Mikey Winfield. Or like I like to call him, can't talk to you right now, I'm in a development meeting, Mikey Winfield.
Things happen.
You got a lot going on. When you're not on a cruise ship, you're hanging out in some swanky production office.
Oh, yeah. Things are hot right now.
Yes.
Right.
Things are hot for me right now too, because a lot of people are watching my stuff, like Chris Pratt on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, that was cool.
That may seem like a cheap plug to promote that I'm on Chris Pratt's Instagram right now.
Should be.
But truly, it's out of insecurity because of all of that crap that happened with Tom Hardy.
Okay.
Anybody want to recall? Anybody want to tell him what happened with Tom Hardy?
It didn't go well.
I had an interview with him, and I was sitting down with someone else, and I was excited. What? Come on! I was excited also to talk about Riz Ahmed. Anybody know where I know Riz Ahmed from?
What's that movie?
Rogue One. Star Wars Rogue One.
Call up a Hammerhead Corvette. I have an idea.
Stand by, Rogue One. We're on it.
This is for you, Caleb.
Yes, Rogue One. Sat down with the two of them, and it went kind of like this. Your director's leaning on you to bring some comedic moments that we haven't exactly seen you do before.
You mean I'm not funny?
I think you're extremely funny. I just haven't seen it on camera often.
Well, thanks for that, bud.
All right.
We laughed.
Well, you know, you laid it out there, so I'll go ahead and say this.
You're not funny.
You are very funny.
Thank you.
Just know when you're trying to be.
All right, bud.
I've never seen you in movies be funny.
Oh, thanks.
No, I mean, your characters aren't funny.
That's okay, buddy. That's cool.
This is like the opposite of that Joe Pesci Goodfellas scene.
Yeah.
You're not funny. You mean I'm not here to amuse you? It's bizarre.
I've interviewed, like I said, I've interviewed pretty much every A-list actor, every Academy Award winner.
Don't have to show off about it.
I'm not dropping names.
Back in your box.
Whoa, so you dropped something there.
We've met a few people
ourselves,
you know what I mean?
Like?
There's a point.
Bloody rodeo geese.
Jesus.
None
We're in Hollywood
We
now,
may
aren't
not
we,
be
guys?
from here, right?
Just got here from London.
We
It's all
do
changed.
know what goes on here. Okay,
chill.
just building up your old press release.
No, I'm just saying.
Dude, what are you thinking?
I just kept thinking, if you could have seen me, I was physically shrinking. It's getting smaller in that chair.
I've never seen
I
you
couldn't
like that.
dig myself out. Well, what would you say?
You know what? There was no coming back from that. So you just kind of, you let some of them die. Some of the interviews are just kind of.
Robbie, has your foot ever been in your mouth?
Oh, more than I want to admit. You did what you had to do. You did what you had to do.
All right, so that's going by right now, as is my Chris Pratt interview on Chris Pratt's website. But back to Venom.
That's big.
I liked Venom. I thought this movie was going to have legs and going to be especially great when people could take it home, and now you can't.
Because I felt like it related to humankind, the people who have those thoughts that live inside of you that you're not always supposed to showcase or have. And as just a person, a human, that's what I identified in the movie.
That was deep.
We'll explore this more when we talk about what men want, but aren't you ever afraid that people are going to be able to hear your inner voice? Or do we hear that on stage?
They do. That's when they get it. But I'm still able to give them what I want to give them to the most extent.
There you go. So this movie, you say rent it?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, rent it, give it a shot. If you're a Marvel fan, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
Rent it or buy it?
You can definitely rent it.
All right. I say buy it. It looks especially good in 4K if you are so equipped. All right, coming up in a moment, a movie that I know you didn't go see in theaters because why would you? However, now maybe you should give the Sisters Brothers a chance. Why the funky name? We'll explain. Ralph breaks the internet's John C. Reilly joins us next. Welcome back to Extra Butter. We're just hanging out talking about movies you can get at home, and might I suggest a movie that came out during the holidays, so I know you didn't go see it because it wasn't Aquaman.
Okay.
And that is The Sisters Brothers. Yeah. Now, in case you're going, that's the weirdest name ever, take a look at this movie. It is a classic Western with a little bit of humor buried deep, deep inside of it. John C. Reilly, phenomenal in it. Jake Gyllenhaal is phenomenal in it. And they're called The Sisters Brothers because the name of these brothers are sisters.
Yes.
Have I confused everybody?
I was confused.
Yeah.
So, Deanna, I know you don't like Westerns. You would probably never go see this movie. Will you rent it?
I think I'm gonna have to do a hard pass on this for myself. It's just, no.
I hope Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't listening. Regardless, we talked, and I think he avoided talking about the movie. Take a look.
Man, fans
So what's happening? I demanded a 3-camera shoot, so Jake's getting another angle for me.
It's a good angle.
Push in on that, would you?
I gotta say, profile on Riz is a good angle.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I'll get this in the pocket one day.
I've interviewed. This is like the 5th time I've interviewed you at TIFF alone, Jake.
Yeah,
and I've always thought you to be a nice guy, but just moments ago I witnessed cliche Hollywood demands.
What?
He's getting an oat milk beverage. First of all, oat milk.
Well, actually, can I say something? That's actually a very socially conscious demand because the creation of almond milk is something that really drains water resources, particularly when we're in a kind of global warming situation. And California, in particular, with its very dry climate, we should all think about.
Also, we should
transitioning
think
from
about
almond milk
coffee
to
too. We really
oat
should.
milk.
You know what I mean? Because tea is probably a better
And I
alternative.
just want you
so
to
I'm actually
encourage you
being
to think
sustainable.
about-
Can I just?
What's funny, in the middle of all this, we just got one of the most profound messages I think I've ever gotten in one of these rooms.
So don't underestimate
So
actors.
I'm just giving him some profound
You know what I mean?
wisdom right
Because
now.
actors really know what's up. You know what I mean?
It's true.
I hope your oat milk beverage
You
gets here.
can't even say it,
sooner than
which
later.
is the thing about it.
I think
it's
it's
really
the first time-
struggling. You're really
This
struggling
is turning
with
into
it.
a bullying situation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to educate the brother.
I only learned
Okay?
oat milk like 15 seconds ago.
Well,
Yeah,
if I
man,
were
leave him
drinking
alone,
regular
dude.
milk, man, I wouldn't be able to sit in this chair. So, it's like, yeah.
During the making of Sisters Brothers, is this what was going on after they said cut?
No
This
oat
is
milk,
what happens.
No almond milk, no oat milk,
No
only
way.
dairy milk.
Are you
there
kidding
was only
me?
dairy milk on the set
Yeah.
of Sisters Brothers. It presented a real issue for the lactose intolerant members of the cast and crew.
How could you work like that?
We didn't. Have you seen the film? I'm not working very well.
Not really that well.
Was he avoiding talking about the movie? He seemed kind of punch drunk.
I don't know. I know that was in Toronto at the Toronto Film Festival. I think they thought it was going to land with more thunder than it did, so maybe he was kind of leaving him out.
Yeah, let's
like,
avoid it.
go look
Yeah.
at my interviews. I was phoning it in, like Sam Jackson for Glass.
Right, yeah, no, not happening.
Maybe. John C. Reilly, I think, was proud of it. Or was it? Maybe he wasn't proud of it because I know he gave me a bribe at the end of the interview.
So was no one proud of their work?
I don't know. Take a look.
People always say, what's your most cherished celebrity item? And a friend of mine for my birthday one year gave me an autograph on one of my favorite movie posters from Ernest Borgnine. What connection would that have that would relate to you?
Well, I did a musical based on a movie that Ernest Borgnine won the Oscar for.
Marty, same
called
thing.
Marty, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that was. I'm trying to see if I have one. I had a memento, maybe.
That you carry with you?
Wait, did I get rid of it? I think I left it in my other pants. Oh well.
Let's go find the pants.
Sorry.
Can somebody bring the pants? Awesome work in this. So good to see you.
Is it in here? Yes.
All right, hold it. Wait for it.
I've heated it up with my body. It started to melt, but it's a chocolate coin.
Is that for me? Thank you.
And my corduroy sword is.
I'm going to continue to let it marinate.
Be careful. It's about to burst.
Aren't you in trouble with the law? Are you now taking bribes?
It was a chocolate coin valued at like 5 cents. I think I'm okay.
Oh, good.
And I am telling you, this is not a movie for everybody. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to, but it requires patience.
Definitely.
And John C. Reilly, you talk about his range, and you're not necessarily seeing him in this role. But I mean, think about the year he's had. He finished out the year Ralph Breaks the Internet, which he didn't have to do much physical lifting on that. But he was also in the Laurel and Hardy movie.
Yeah.
As Ollie.
Yeah. So, it's a credit to the acting. That's why I'm saying I'm studying. But as far as the film as a whole, it's not, it's a different pace. It's a change.
And they didn't even film this movie even in the United States. Like, how are you going to talk about the Western time in the United States? And you're like in Paris and in Spain. Like, what kind of
that's
crap is
good.
That wasn't San Joaquin County? Featured in this Gold Rush movie?
It was good to see a Western again, It's been a while, and I love a good Western.
No kidding. While credits roll, I'm sorry if I'm distracted. I just couldn't help but notice we're at 1.7 million views on Chris Pratt's page of my interview.
I told you, that's
To be
big.
determined.
That is big.
All right, thanks for being here, you guys.
Absolutely, man.
Have a good weekend. Good time in the movies. Popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Extra butter.
Extra butter.